And since this institute is not going to affect the existence of National Veterinary Research Institute, VOM, it is necessary to allay the fears of the people of this nation that nothing will happen to National Veterinary Research Institute, VOM. Rather, the services will be expanded and it will provide opportunity for the Northeast to also have the presence of this research institute. It's on this basis that I want the people of my constituency to know that this bill is not antagonistic. This bill does not seek to extinguish Veterinary Institute VOM, but rather is to expand the services. To that extent, I stand in support of the establishment of an additional veterinary institute to the one that is already in VOM for the good of the nation and the betterment of our citizens. And to that extent, I want to assure people that National Veterinary Institute, Research Institute VOM will not be affected in any way. Thank you, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues.
The Deputy Leader of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to support that this bill be read the second time. And I want to thank the sponsor of this bill for, bringing up this bill at this time. Mr. President, for a long time, the livestock have been the source of protein for Nigerians. And we've been talking about diversification of our economy. I believe that if we properly organize the livestock sector, it can contribute a lot to revenue generation, even in terms of foreign exchange. Now, we derive certain products from our livestock, hides, milk, and a research institute like this will be able to go into areas of producing new breeds that will be able to compete with foreign breeds. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, Argentina relies wholly on the livestock sector, and it exports a lot of livestock outside the country from which it derives foreign exchange. So in our effort to diversify our economy, livestock can be a contributor to foreign exchange earner. I therefore support that this bill be read the second time. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Livestock production is key to diversification of our economy, and there is need for research in livestock to improve varieties, to improve feeding, and to also provide vaccines for these animals. Mr. President, right now there is a lot of controversy on ranching and open grazing. There is no way you can stop open grazing if you don't have this kind of institutes all over the country. The livestock production in Jos, I will say, is overstretched. There is no way it can cover the whole of Nigeria. So there is need to decentralize it, establish as many research institutes as possible to cater for the millions of animals we have in the country. And we're not only talking about cows, goats, and sheep. We're even talking about poultry. Poultry farming is another aspect of livestock production. And I sincerely support this bill. I urge all my colleagues to do that. Extension service is also very, very important. And it is in this light that I see the rationale of bringing this bill. We are currently importing a lot of vaccines in the country, and simply because the Research Institute in Vaughan cannot produce enough vaccines to cover the whole country. So it is very timely and apt for the establishment of another veterinary research institute. And if we have 10 of them, the better for the country. This is the only way we can stop overgrazing. Mr. President, animal production is very important to food security. It provides protein for the people, and hides and skin can also be used to produce leather goods and even export them to earn foreign exchange. So, Mr. President, this bill is good for the country, and I urge all my colleagues to support it. Thank you very much.
Is there anybody against the bill? Those who vote that this will be now read the second time, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Law of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to establish the National Veterinary Research Institute, Gombe, to be charged with the responsibility of facilitating research in animal disease control, nutrition, and standardization of manufactured animal feeds and for related matters 2022 SB 782, second reading.
A bill for an act to establish the National Veterinary Research Institute, Gombe, charged with the responsibility of facilitating research in animal disease, control, nutrition, and standardization of manufactured animal feeds. And the bill is referred to the Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development to report back within 4 weeks. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the third order of the day is a report on the National Transport Commission Establishment Bill 2022. This report was presented last week to the Committee of the Whole. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues will recall that this bill was recommitted to the Committee of the Whole on Wednesday, 26 January 2022. But further consideration of the bill was deferred to allow the observations of Mr. President on the bill to be distributed to the distinguished senators for contextual consideration. Mr. President, you may therefore invite distinguished Senator Abdul Fattah Buhari, Senate Chairman of the Committee on Land Transport, to brief the Senate on the observations made by Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief, for clarification before we recommit the bill back to the Committee of the Whole for further legislative action. I so move, Mr. President.
The Senator Abdul Fattah Buhari.
Representative also passed the bill, and the president and presidency now raised some observation, 33 clauses out of the 110 clauses. And the Minister of Justice now invited all the stakeholders to you, all the ministry, all the other agencies, we went to including National Assembly. While in Uyo, we now find out that most of the observations that they raised were very, very minute, and then we adjusted it, and it's now in the main bill. Mr. President, one of the observations we raised is, number one, instead of the agency going directly to the presidency to get approval, they now say they should go through the minister in the agency, so that the agency will submit their report to the ministry, and the minister will not take it to FED. And we have already amended that observation. Secondly, there is a proposed, one of the second one, I just pick about 3 or 4 to explain to my colleague. This is subject to the provision of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Act. Ensure consumer protection and the Act Number 1, 2018, quality of services in the regulated transport sector. In case of any conflict between this Act and any other sector legislation on the economic regulatory function, the power of the Commission, the provision of this Act shall prevail. That was the initial provision. And then the amendment and then the observation that they asked us to do, which we have done, is subject to the provision of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Act. Ensure Consumer Protection Act Number 1, 2018, quality of services provided the regulated transport sector. In case of any conflict between this Act and any other legislature on the economic regulatory function, the power of the Commission, the provision of the Act shall prevail. And lastly, another one that they raised is under the clause 3. Upon commencement of this Act, the Nigerian Shipper Council as the interim economic regulator for the port and the relevant and qualified staff together with the person employed by any other legacy agency as may be required by the Commission are transferred to the Commission and deemed to form the initial staffing of the Commission in line with the provision as contained under this Act. That is, as it affects matters under this Act, in particular as set out in the 3rd schedule. And the amendment and then the observation that they asked us to do, which we have done, is upon the commencement of this Act, the Nigerian Shipper Council, as the interim economic regulator for the port and its relevant and qualified staff together, with such number of persons employed by any other legacy agency as may be required by the Commission, are transferred to the Commission and deemed to form the initial staffing of the Commission in line with the provision contained under this Act, insofar as it affects matters under this Act, and in particular as it is out in the 3rd schedule. This is what happened to the old 33 clauses, which we've already done, sir.
Any comments? You are the DSP.
Mr. President, of the Omo Agege Delta Central District. Mr. President, my comment is might be a little bit cosmetic, but it is in line with our recent extant practice dealing with the power of appointment of the chairman and the chief executive of these parastatals. Mr. President, I take you to page 65. Sorry, page 6. That would be clause number, which would do this? 8. Subsection 3. It says the chairman and members Page 6. Yes, page 6.
Go ahead.
No, but he needs to. Huh? He's the one that will rule on it. If he doesn't see it, he can't.
Albert, allow us to continue with our proceedings. Please step aside.
Senator Albert, you are protected. Huh? Yes, I think so. He needs to be protected. Okay, DSP.
Page 6, Mr. President. That will be the stakeholders' column, I believe. Subsection 3. It says, the chairman and members shall be appointed by the president on the recommendation of the minister. Mr. President, in line with our recent extant practices, you should just read, the chairman and members shall be appointed by Mr. President. We don't need to specify on the recommendation. The president is free to receive advice and recommendation from the minister or anybody, but we should not write it into the law. We've made this argument severally, and I think this chamber has brought it severally in most of the bills that have come before us. So I think we should just make that amendment. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay. Well, it's when we come to the clause by clause consideration. Favorably. So, is there any?
Mr. President, in view of the fact that the observation that we have made last week on this very important bill has now been certified, and the amendments and observations made by Mr. President has received the support of members of this distinguished chamber, I rise to a motion that the Senate resolves in the Committee of the Whole to reconsider and adopt this report. I so submit.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate resolves into Committee of the Whole to consider the report, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. This is now a refined but let me also mention this. Maybe we should find a way around it as quickly as possible. We may adopt the amendment sought by the DSP. We did that previously, and the House did not do like we did. They maintained on the advice of the minister. So we need to do something, and I think this may be at a leadership level for us to engage with the House. Otherwise, on this little thing, we have to be setting up harmonization committees. And of course, it's worth it, but it's going to be eating into our resources. If we agree with the House that this we should be doing And we should be able to convince them that whenever they have something like this, they should treat it, remove the advice of the minister, so that we don't have to be going into harmonization or conference committee because of just this simple thing. So we'll talk to them, DSP. I think we need to engage them so that we'll be on the same page all the time when it comes to this one. Those who are that clause 1, clause 2, clause 3, clause 4, establishment of the National Transport Commission, clause 5, functions and powers of the commission. Stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those who are at clause 6, consultation on page 5. Clause 7, relationship of the commission with the minister. Clause 8, membership of the commission. Clause 8, DSP.
Clause 8, subsection 3, is to be amended to read: the chairman and members shall be appointed by the president, period. And 6, the deletion on the recommendation of the minister. I so move.
Put again.
Yes.
Those who are at clauses 6 and 7, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those who are at clause 8, as amended, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 9, clause 10 is on page 8. Clause 11, remuneration and allowances. Clause 12, clause 13, and clause 14. Stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 15, executive commissioners on page 11. Clause 16, the secretary to the board. Clause 17, clause 18, clause 19, and clause 20, application of surplus revenue. Stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 21, borrowing powers on page 13. Clause 22, annual reports. Clause 23, budget and expenditure. Clause 24, financial year and audit of commission's accounts. Those in favor of those clauses stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 25 on page 15, regulations. Clause 26, clause 27, clause 28, clause 29, and clause 30 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 31 on page 18, filing and publication of tariffs or charges by the commission. Clause 32, clause 33, clause 34, clause 35, and clause 36 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 37 is access on page 22. Clause 38, clause 39, clause 40, clause 41, and clause 42, hindering access. Those in favor of those clauses stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 43 is inquiry about a significant infrastructure facility on page 25. Clause 44, clause 45, clause 46, clause 47, clause 48, clause 49, and clause 50 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 51, Commission's power on competition matters on page 29. Clause 52, Clause 53, Clause 54, Clause 55, Clause 56, Clause 57, Clause 58, Clause 59, and Clause 60 on page 34. Those in favor that those clauses stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Clause 61 on page 35, modification of directives. Clause 62, Clause 63, Clause 64, Clause 65, Clause 66, Clause 67, Clause 68, Clause 69, Clause 70 on page 39. Those in favor that those clauses stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Clause 71, conduct of investigation on page 39. Clause 72, Clause 73, Clause 74, Clause 75, Clause 76, Clause 77, Clause 78, Clause 79, and Clause 80 on page 45. Those in favor that those clauses stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Clause 81 is on page 46, financial and business records. Clause 82, Clause 83, Clause 84, Clause 85, Clause 86, Clause 87, Clause 88, Clause 89, and Clause 90, judicial review of decision on page 50. Those in favor that those clauses stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Clause 91, right of appeal on page 50. Clause 92, Clause 93, Clause 94, Clause 95, Clause 96, Clause 97, Clause 98, Clause 99, Clause 100 on page 53, personal liability. Those in favor that those clauses stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Clause 101, disclosure of information is an offense on page 53. 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108. Those in favor that those clauses stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Those in favor that the interpretation on page 58 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Those in favor that the short title stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Those in favor that the schedules 1 and 2 stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Those in favor that the long title on page 1 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, I rise to move a motion that the chair reports progress. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate reverse to plenary for the chair to report progress say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. The Senate and the Committee of the Whole considered the National Transport Commission Establishment, ETC Bill 2022, and approved as follows. Long title as recommended, Clause 1 to 7 as recommended, Clause 8 as amended, Clause 9 to 108 as recommended, interpretation as recommended, Short title as recommended. Schedules 1 and 2 as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Thank you. Leader of the Senate.
President, I rise to move that this bill be read the third time. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that this bill be now read the third time, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau for the regulation, prevention, and effective administration for safety investigation in Nigeria and for related matters 2022, SB 197, third.
A bill for an act to establish the National Transport Commission as independent multimodal economy and provide for a legal and for related matters 2020 taken and the bill is passed. Congratulations, Leader of the Senate.
Highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the fourth order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, on the screening of the following persons for appointment as National Commissioners and Resident Electoral Commissioner. As they are as follows. 1. Malam Mohammed Haruna, Niger State, North Central, National Commissioner. 2. Mrs. May Agbamuche Umbu, Delta, South South, National Commissioner. 3. Okebu Kenneth Nnamdi, Abia, Southeast, National Commissioner. 4. Major General A.B. Al-Ali, retired, Adamawa, Northeast, National Commissioner. 5. Engineer Professor Rhoda H. Gomus, Bayelsa, South South, National Commissioner. 6. Mr. Sam Elumekun, Ondo, Southwest, National Commissioner. 7. Olani Olaleye Ijalaye, Ondo, Southwest, Resident Electoral Commissioner. Distinguished senators will recall that the request of Mr. President Commander Ichi will refer to the committee on Wednesday, 15 December 2021. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Kabir Ibrahim Gaya, Chairman of the INEC Committee of the Senate, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Distinguished Senator Kabir Ibrahim Gaya.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm Kabir Gaya, representing the people of Kano South from Kano State. Mr. President, I would like to move a motion that the Senate do receive and consider the report of Committee on Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, on the confirmation of the nomination of the following persons for appointment as National Commissioners and one resident Electoral Commissioner for Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. I so move, Mr. President.
Yes. Very distinguished lady.
I arise to support and to second the motion that the report on the Senate Committee on Independent National Electoral Commission be presented. I so second, Mr. President.
Those in favor of the motion do receive and consider the report of the Committee on the National Electoral Commission, INEC, information of the nomination as National Commissioners and Resident Electoral Commissioner for Independent National Electoral Commission. Say aye. Those against any, the ayes have it. Chairman, you may lead the report, please. You may present the report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, the Senate at its sitting December 2021 considered the request of Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for confirmation of the under-listed nominees for appointment in national commissioners and resident electoral commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and in its wisdom, the Senate referred same to this committee through a referral order dated 21st December 2021 for further judicial action. The confirmation of the nomination for the appointment of nominations are as follows. Malam Mohammed Haruna, Niger.
Order.
No Central National Commissioner.
Please, distinguished colleagues, let's listen to our colleague in silence, and we should be discussing in low tones as our standing orders provide for.
Mr. President, number one, Mohammed Haruna from Niger State, North Central National Commissioner. Mrs. May Umbu, Delta South National Commissioner. Nkebu Kenneth Mandi, Abia Southeast National Commissioner. Major General A.B. Al-Ali, retired, Adamawa Northeast National Commissioner. Professor Rhoda H. Gumus, Bayelsa South National Commissioner. Mr. Sam Olumekun, Ondo Southwest National Commissioner. And Olani Olale Ijalai, Ondo Southwest Resident Electoral Commissioner of the Independent National Electoral Commission was made under the provision of Section 1531F of the Constitution. Further, this request was made pursuant to the provision of Section 1541 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, which requires the appointment of chairman and members of any of the bodies so established under Section 1531 shall be made by the President, and the appointment shall be subject to confirmation by the Senate. Mr. President, there are nominations of 6 national commissioners and 1 resident electoral commissioner. We have invited them, sir, screen them, discuss with them on their curriculum, vitality, security clearance, and other relevant documents on all of them. Starting from Mohammed Haruna, as I mentioned, I don't have to read his CV, the background is already attached. Then to Mrs. May Umbu, then to Ikigo Kenneth Namdi, then to Major General Abubakar Modibo Ali, then to Professor Rhoda Gumus, and Sam Olumekun MNI, and lastly, Olale Ijalai. Mr. President, all the nominees to determine the stability for the provision for which they were nominated, the nominees were asked questions that bordered mostly on the integrity, landmark, contribution, or achievement as commissioners in the case of returning nominees, opinion on the traditional card readers, beavers, electronic voting, transmission, etc. 4 questions were asked them, and they proved to be sound, and they answered the questions properly. Mr. President, we have only received 1 petition in regard to Major General A.B. Al-Ali. But through the media, after we have submitted our report, we are hearing news on different persons again. Well, let me read it. The committee received a petition from Taraba Elders Forum against the nomination of Major General A.B. Al-Ali, retired, over the seeming inconsistency in the rotation of the nomination. According to petition, the nomination started from Taraba 2003 to 2008, Commissioner from Taraba, Adamawa 2 from 2008 to 2015, Gombe in 2015 to 2021. The expectation is that the fair thing should do to rotate the nominee from Taraba, not any other state but to Taraba. Relating to this, the committee resolved that all the three states, Taraba, Adamawa, and Gombe, had been nominated and benefited between 2003 to 2021. And it is therefore the prerogative of Mr. President to pick his nominee from any of the three states. So therefore, we didn't consider that petition. The members of the committee commended the nominees' impressive curriculum by Chief CB and Secretary answers to the question posed, and therefore recommend that Malam Muhammad Haruna, Mrs. May Umbu, Ikogu Kenneth Nnamdi, Major General A.B. Al-Kali, Engineer Professor Rhoda Gumus, Mr. Sam Olumeku, MNA, and Olani Olali Ijalai be confirmed by the Senate.
Everyone wants power. So feel real news at your fingertip. Be the first to report by uploading first-hand information on the U-Report link, and be the first to know by simply clicking on any of the links on the sidebar for headlines, domestic and foreign news, economy, security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News app from your Google Play Store and you're good to go. NTA News mobile app, your access to real-time information.
We want to talk about rights, there are obligations. I'm not saying that this government is a saint, it's very far from it. But there are things that we can do to make it better, and that's the challenge I'm throwing to you. You don't want to build this nation? I don't know where else you want to go. If I had a choice, I'll come back. When I stand outside and I hear what you have to say about this country that I know that I can die for as one, then I'm really sad, because you're young. You have education. You have tools. You have a huge future ahead of you. And you're condemning yourself before you started on that journey. So please don't do that. Please don't.
It's another week for us to go through all the actions on social media as well as all the events in the lives of your favorite celebrities. Welcome to Entertainment Gist right here. My name is Simeon Sunday. And talking about the events in the life of